The golden sun was just beginning its slow descent behind the hills of Iagbami village, when young Ade's mother called him inside their mud brick home. The scent of freshly pounded yam and efferiro soup filled the air, as she carefully wrapped a special bundle in bright Ankara cloth. "Ade, my son," she said in that serious tone that meant no arguments. "You must take this offering to the river shrine before sunset. The priestess is expecting it for tonight's new moon ceremony." Ade's shoulders slumped slightly. He could hear his friends laughing outside, their voices carrying over the rhythmic pounding of mortar and pestle from neighboring compounds. "But Mama, can't I?" "No buts," his mother interrupted, tying the bundle securely. "These sacred kola nuts and palm oil are for the ancestors. They must arrive before the first star appears, or the ceremony cannot begin." As Ade stepped out into the village square, the vibrant colors of market day assaulted his senses. Women balanced baskets of ripe plantains on their heads, while children chased squawking chickens through the dust. His best friend Kola spotted him immediately. "Ade, come quick," Kola called, waving excitedly. "The wrestlers from neighboring villages have arrived early. They're practicing near the baobab tree." Ade hesitated, feeling the weight of the sacred bundle in his hands. The distant sound of drums and cheering pulled at him like a physical force. "I'll just watch for a few minutes," he told himself. "The shrine isn't far." But time slipped away like sand through fingers. The wrestlers' impressive displays, their oiled muscles glistening in the afternoon sun, completely captured Ade's attention. When he finally remembered his task, the sun hung dangerously low in the sky. His heart pounded as he raced toward the river, taking shortcuts through cassava farms. But when he reached the sacred clearing, his blood ran cold. The bundle was gone. Frantically retracing his steps, Ade found only trampled grass where it must have fallen. Dread settled in his stomach like a stone as he approached the shrine. Priestess Neka stood waiting, her white robes glowing in the fading light. "You're late, child," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Where is the offering?" Ade's mouth went dry. The lie came suddenly. "A python." A giant python slithered across the path and took it. The priestess's eyes widened. "A python? At the river shrine?" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "This is a powerful sign, and not a good one." Word spread through the village like wildfire. By nightfall, the entire community had gathered at the chief's compound. Elder Okeke's voice trembled as he addressed the crowd. "A python stealing sacred offerings hasn't happened since my grandfather's time. This is a warning from the river spirits." Ade watched in horror as the village blacksmith began forging special charms. Women hurriedly packed their cooking pots, preparing for possible evacuation. His little sister Ngozi clutched his hand tightly. "Will the python come for us next?" she whispered, her small body trembling. That night, lying on his sleeping mat, Ade couldn't close his eyes. Every rustle of leaves outside sounded like a slithering serpent. The weight of his deception pressed down on him, until he could barely breathe. At dawn, as the village prepared to consult the oracle, Ade pushed through the gathered crowd. Tears streamed down his face as he fell to his knees before the elders. "I lied," he sobbed. "There was no python. I lost the offering because I stopped to watch the wrestlers." The silence that followed was heavier than the morning mist. Chief Adebayo's staff struck the earth with a thunderous crack. "Do you understand what you've done?" The chief's voice boomed. "Your lie has cost us a night's sleep, wasted our blacksmith's precious iron, and frightened our children." The punishment was severe. For the next 40 days, Ade would serve as the priestess's assistant, hauling water from the distant spring before sunrise and gathering special herbs in the dangerous twilight hours. But worse than any physical labor was the disappointment in his mother's eyes when she learned the truth. "Ade," she said quietly, "in our family we measure a person's worth by their words before their deeds. What does this say about you?" As weeks passed, Ade witnessed firsthand the ripple effects of his lie. The blacksmith had to work extra hours to replace the charms. The delayed ceremony meant the yam planting was postponed. Even the wrestlers left early, fearing the rumored python. One evening, as Ade helped Priestess Neka prepare healing herbs, she shared wisdom that would stay with him forever. "Child, lies are like these bitter leaves. The more you try to sweeten them, the worse they taste. But truth? Truth is like clean water. It may not always be what we want, but it's always what we need. When his punishment finally ended, Ade stood before the entire village during the next moon ceremony. With shaking hands, he presented a new offering, this time delivered properly. Chief Adebayo placed a firm hand on his shoulder. You have learned a hard lesson, but an important one. In Ayagbami we say a single lie can poison a whole well, but truth cleanses like the first rains. Years later, when Ade became the village storyteller, children would beg to hear the tale of the missing offering. And whenever they asked why he told it with such emotion, he would smile and say, because some stories aren't just for entertainment. They're the mortar that holds our community together. And this one reminds us that while lies may spread fast, truth always wins the race. Better to stumble with the truth than to dance with a lie. If you like our story, please subscribe.